Out this constituent's newsletter, October 1993. He was chairman of the Subcommittee on Appropriations, which is really one of the most powerful committees of the Congress. And he put out this newsletter to his constituents, and he said something that I think he shouldn't have said, because now his office won't talk about it. But I got this from a friend, a wonderful Christian source, who said, you know, Texe, check it out. It was very interesting. He's talking about crime and gun control, that he is much in favor of, you know, handgun control. And let me read to you what he said here. Now, this guy has the money bags of Congress, right? And he said something here that I had never read anywhere. I mean, I read pretty avidly. I hadn't seen it in Newsweek or Time or anywhere. He says the Subcommittee on Appropriations, which I chair, has been actively pursuing an effective solution to the problem as far as buying handguns. But the program we are to implement will take more time. The solution to screening people is to have a national center computerized so that local law enforcement offices can instantly access information from all states. In other words, all states would supply that information to the national center, and the national center will have a positive identification system which will identify any applicant for a handgun purchase. And then the next paragraph begins, and listen to this. Now, that's what they're trying to do, right? Oh, yes, we need instant handgun, but that hadn't been approved yet, has it? I mean, that's just what some of them want to do. We don't have these things. We don't have these tools. No money has been spent on this, or has it? Here's what Congressman Smith says in the very next paragraph. Quote, we have invested $392 million so far in such a center, about a 4-hour drive from Washington, D.C., the National Identification Center. Wow. They've already spent $392 million, and they don't even have any authority to do it yet. They've got it set up, all the computers, the huge building structure, everything ready to go. And then some crisis occurs that makes everybody want a law passed right away, doesn't it? Oh, yeah. But they've already spent the money. It's ready to go. And the instant Congress passes the law, it's already there. And if Congress doesn't pass a law, there's something called presidential executive orders, because it's so needed. And everybody would agree. Well, that's the National Identification Center. Let's talk about something called the National Reconnaissance Office. I'm just trying to indicate to you that what we have, ladies and gentlemen, is a Gestapo state being created and invented all around us without our knowledge. A Gestapo state. Things going on we don't know. The CIA bringing in dope from South America and using the Bloods and the Crips gangs in the inner cities to make millions of dollars so they can send arms. And folks, they say, oh, well, now that the Contra deal is over, that's not happening anymore. Hey, come on. You remember the CIA agent Ames? They caught him for giving secrets to the Russians. I really believe that guy, the sources I have say that he was involved in pulling a little bit of money for himself. They were having Russian deals. The CIA is using the Russians now to bring in dope in their aircraft. And they bring back billions of dollars, American notes flying out of New York City each and every day, and they bring in dope into America. And Ames was getting a little cut of it. And you know, they don't like a guy getting a little cut on the side. They want it to all go through the CIA headquarters organization. And so Ames had to bite the bullet as an example to others, of course. And if Ames shoots his mouth off, he may not last long in prison. Well, in Project Lucid, I have a list, of organizations. Now, we've all heard of government organizations such as the IRS. We've heard about the Drug Enforcement Agency, the FBI. And, of course, over the years, these agencies, many of them have done many good things, and we want to applaud. And I'm not here to tell you that every agent is bad or is a rogue. I don't believe that. But I think a culture has grown up in those agencies. And in the words of my good friend, Officer Jack McLam, Phoenix Police Department, retired. He said, Texe, the scum has risen to the top in these agencies. And what we once respected in these agencies, and should respect any American, something has gone awry. Something has gone wrong. Maybe it's symbolic of all of society, our schools, and so many other institutions. I'm afraid, as a former Air Force officer, I'm embarrassed to say that because of Clinton policies, it's beginning to affect the U.S. military, even the Air Force. But there's still some integrity left. Maybe at the higher levels, they're only promoting the officers that'll go along with homosexuality and the New World Order. But there's still some troops there that are trying to toe the line. And I've talked to some of them who've written me letters. I remember the man who wrote me, and he sent me a picture out of Air Force Manual, Air Force Regulation, 3510. He said, Texe, this is a disgrace. This is the new uniform we're going to have to start wearing. Because they don't want to push the United States, we're going to be merged into this global United Nations system, Army. Our new uniforms take off the U.S. insignia off our collars. He said, this is a disgrace. And, you know, the interesting thing is that that almost caused a mutiny within the Air Force. 2 years ago, it was announced, you will be given this new uniform, and we'll have to take off the U.S. It's embarrassing for it to have U.S. It's so nationalistic, so patriotic. Amen. The brother said. And, you know, they had to actually, Shalikashvili, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and Mr. General McPeak of the Air Force had to countermand that order. There was so much dissension in the ranks. The little people, the sergeants and the lieutenants said, no, we're not going to do it. It's interesting. Here are some of the names of organizations. I believe this is a Gestapo police state. I'm not trying to be dramatic. I believe this. Listen to some of these. You've never even heard of these. I didn't either until I began to investigate. The National Reconnaissance Office. I'll be talking about that in a moment. The National Law Enforcement Telecommunications Systems Projects Agency. The National Crime Information Center. FEMA, of course, Federal Emergency Management Agency. There's the Interstate Identification Index, III, whatever that is. There's the Office of Special Investigations, OSI. There's the Man and Biosphere Program, MAB. There's the National Strategy Information Center. There's the FinCEN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. There's the Counter-Terrorist Center, CTC. There's the Defense Information Systems Agency, or DISA. There's the Defense Intelligence Agency. There's the National Identification Center. We talked about that. Defense Message Agency. It goes on and on. Agency after agency. What do they do? Here's one. The Law Enforcement Satellite System. Did some checking on that. It was quite interesting what I found out. You see, they want to give law enforcement the ability to access information coming from all of the satellites that are watching us. And so they're developing this system. It's going to be connected with Project Lucid, the Lucid Net, and you. But the National Reconnaissance Office is a very interesting one. These are the people that get all the data sent to them